Okay, shalom everybody. Welcome. Sorry, I got a bad setup this evening. You're just gonna have to look up at me. If you're on TikTok, it is what it is. We're thankful and grateful to everybody for being on. We appreciate you. Thanks for being on with us. Thanks for spending some time. Uh, Barak Allah Hashem Yechava, belated Shabbat Shalom. I should have said Shabbat Shalom yesterday for those who are keeping up with our actual calendar, the Avda calendar, the biblical calendar. We just came out of Shabbat, so hopefully you had a great time and were able to do what you need to do there. But we're thankful and grateful to everybody for being on with us. As always, I'm Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And we're grateful to be in front of you one more again. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Aman. So shalom to everybody. Peace. Welcome in. Come on in. How you doing? We give all honor and praise to Yahweh Elohim. We give all praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree, and we're thankful and grateful to have everybody on with us. Let's say hello to everybody real quick and get into tonight's message. How you doing, Tori? How you doing, Snat? How you doing, Anthony? How you doing, big brother Vincent? Is it Tindo? Hello, how you doing? Spike Me Too. Everybody who's on, we appreciate you, brother Alton. Everybody, thank you so much, and we appreciate your likes. If you're on YouTube, maybe if you want to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification tab so you can be aware of when we put out other messages or do other things or other videos are placed. I got a bunch of them to catch up on as always. But we're thankful and grateful. For the most part, we tried to catch up on all the phone calls except for the ones from today. Thank you to all those who were with us in our camping trips and all that stuff and got the chance to see some of those things. How you doing, Tori? Oh, you're on both? Okay, cool. Cool. I see you. So we appreciate you. We honor you. We respect you guys so much. And tonight I want to talk about something called Kung Fu. Kung Fu, right? And I was talking about this a little bit from those who are part of the Patreon Kingdom, part of the Patreon family. We just came over talking about some of this stuff. How you doing, Big Brother Thomas? How you doing? Uh-oh. I saw somebody, a Big Roy, I believe it was. How you doing, Sister Dawn, Sister Deborah? So we were talking about this somewhat on Patreon. So if you want to go there, if you're part of the Patreon family, please go there to be able to check out that message, be able to get a little bit more from that. And also, too, as a reminder, I will not be on. Actually, who's going to be on? I got to make sure. I don't think that I'm going to be on tomorrow in the Rising, but somebody should be on YouTube. Oh, never mind. I will be on tomorrow in the Rising. Okay, so I'll be on tomorrow in the Rising. I won't be on tomorrow in the evening. So please check out Minister Tamara at Tamara underscore Yah9. That's TAMARA underscore YAH, the number 9. And she'll be on tomorrow evening with an excellent message. Please come out and support her and all that she's doing, and many different people that are doing many different things on many different platforms. How you doing, Kingdom of Zion? Thanks for being on with us. Alrighty, so tonight I'm going to talk about Kung Fu. Kung Fu, right? It's important. We want to talk about Kung Fu. Now, I've taken Kung Fu cumulatively a little longer than this, my son's, but then my son, he's taken it since he was 2 years old. I've taken other forms of martial arts, whether it be hand-to-hand combat in the military. We talking about MMA type stuff, right? But Kung Fu is something a little different than what most of us think. How you doing, Ladybug? And how you doing, Minister Tamara? I just told him to check you out tomorrow evening. So we look forward to your message tomorrow evening, right? I tried to be a moderator on there too. Yes, last time, so maybe I can jump in there this time on that, right? But we want to talk about Kung Fu, and thank you for the love, appreciate it. Kung Fu, Kung Fu, Kung Fu. If somebody were to ask me, somebody were to say, "Okay, teach me Kung Fu," first thing I might tell them is, "Okay, well, honor your parents." Somebody said, "What are you talking about? Teach me Kung Fu." I say, "Yeah, go honor your parents." How you doing, her? Thanks for being on. Somebody says, "No, that's not what I'm talking about. I want to know Kung Fu. Teach me Kung Fu." I say, "Okay, how about this? Make sure you meditate." No, 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 no. Teach me Kung Fu. I just told you. You want to learn how to meditate? Somebody say, "No, teach me Kung Fu." I say, "Okay, all right, fine. Make sure that you pick up the trash off the earth and make sure that you don't leave trash. Make sure you do not litter. And then you'll be somebody who is doing Kung Fu correctly." You say, "No, no, no. I want to learn Kung Fu. What are you talking about?" I might say, "Okay, fine. Start learning law and become sovereign." Somebody says, "No, I'm tired of this. Why are you messing with me, Kofi? I ask you a specific question. I need a specific answer. Teach me kung fu. That's what I'm looking for, right? And they don't get it because you're looking for the fighting. But kung fu means well done, right? Even with karate and the Karate Kid, the original one, even though it's not kung fu, they did kung fu in the second one. Go figure. How you doing, Sister Monica? How you doing, Sister Sharice? But kung fu means well done. So this is why Daniel-san does what? Wax on, wax off, right? Paint the fence. Why? Because if you can, if somebody tries to get you, you can block. You can block and still punch, right? Even if you're doing Wing Chun, right? Wing Chun, where you be more in here, right? And you might go ahead and use this to be able to punch. Your punches, even in Wing Chun, are going to be more like this, right? If I'm doing what you would think of as traditional Kung Fu, my punches are more, like you think of boxing, right? No matter what I'm doing, right? I have to be proficient in it, right? But before I can be proficient in that, I have to be proficient and well-rounded all together. See, because if you're not disciplined, if your discipline is not well done, then your kung fu will not be well done. We talked about this tonight on the podcast, right? Yeah, fundamental steps. We talked about it on the podcast. If you're not going to be a practitioner of something as far as kung fu, you said David Carradine kung fu, yeah, right? And that was actually supposed to be Bruce Lee's role, and then they gave it to him because they figured a white guy who didn't know kung fu would be better to use than somebody who actually is one of the greatest kung fu masters that's ever existed. I could only imagine what that show would have been like with Bruce Lee, right? But nevertheless, right, right. How you doing, brother Jermaine? Kung fu, it means well done. Well done. You can't teach kung fu and not do something well done. You can't be a master of something without doing it well. So it has to permeate every area of your life, right? If I say Wing Chun, right? Why is Wing Chun, right? You're used to maybe Donnie Yen and seeing him doing it based off of an actual real person, right? When you talk about Ip Man, right? Ip Man, he was somebody who actually did Wing Chun. Now Wing Chun was developed by a woman, believe it or not. That's why everything is you would take your knees and kind of be knock knee, right? And you get smaller and you actually do everything from within here. You want very few things to come outside of here. Everything's going to be inside. Why? Because that's a specific type of kung fu to do well done. Why? Because she was a woman. She was smaller. She might not be as strong as a man. She can still beat a man and defend herself, but she's smaller. So she created something to ensure that it could be well done within her area. So everything's in here, right? Everything is here, right? Everything is inside. Everything is inside, right? Everything here, blocking here, punches in here, right? Everything to try and end the fight as quickly as possible because it's well done for the style that it's in. See, the kung fu, it needs to be something that works for you where you are, right? Having a powerful center, right? Somebody else does kung fu, right? If you're doing Tai Chi, a lot of you only know about the meditation part of the Tai Chi, but Tai Chi, even the slow stuff, everything's up, right? I don't know if you can even see me on TikTok. I got a bad setup tonight, but everything's up, everything's down, right? Everything flows, everything comes together, right? Everything's energy to be able to push, right? Those who were part of when we were doing the workouts, early riser workouts we were doing last year, we'll probably bring some of those back hopefully soon. But we did a lot of Tai Chi and some of that stuff. Why? Because it helps you to be able to center energy, make sure that you can lean, make sure that you can go slowly, be able to come back and flow and do a lot of things that flow, right? It becomes meditation, right? As well. You're thinking about every move that you're doing and it flows. How you doing, Shoe Queen? And thank you guys for the love, right? But kung fu, it means well done, right? If you're doing what we think of as kung fu, right? Hands up. A lot of people, when they fight, right? Even a lot of boxers, they get knocked out because they put their hands down, right? But one of the things I'm always reminding my son, hands up. He put his hands down, up, got you, right? Got you, got him, right? You put your hands down, all it takes is a couple punches, boom, boom, you're out, right? So everything is preparing yourself as if something's coming. Everything is well done. Your defense should be working while your offense. If you're going to make an offensive move, you have to realize you should always be thinking defensively. Everything is well done, right? Everything is well done. A lot of people, you probably won't even be able to see it, but a lot of people do kicks and they just bring their foot straight up. They just bring it straight up, right? So your foot straight up, right? But no, if you're gonna do a kick, don't be doing no can. You're not here to put your foot straight up. That's not going to work with anything. And you don't want to use your toes, because if you put your toes there and kick somebody in that area, you'll break your toe. Right? It's like playing chess. So a lot of people think that they're doing kicks and you'll break your toe in a fight like that. Right? Unless you got some steel toe boots on. If you got some steel toe boots on, yeah, right. They call it a heel kick or even a push kick, right? Where you're pushing, right? So you got to bring your knee up. I don't even know if y'all can see it because I got all this, I'm out in the dark, right? But you got to bring your knee up. That's first. That's number one. It's a 4-step kick. You got to bring your knee up. Then you have to be able to push it out. That's 2. Bring it back to where it was. That's 3. And then bring it back to the ground so that you always have a center of balance. Everything, even every kick, is well done. How you doing, Sister Nadine? Right? Every kick is well done. Every punch is well done. Every thought is well done. Right? The second you bring your hands down, right, you coming in for a punch and you don't open yourself up. As soon as you're opened up, I can punch, I can kick, right? You're done. All it takes is 1 second to be off. And now it's no longer well done. That's why it's called Kung Fu. It's well done. Everything is well done. Right? And we want to hear at the end of our lives, well done, right? My faithful servant who is constitutional. Well done, my faithful servant who is a practitioner. Well done, my faithful servant that thinks offensively and defensively with every move they make. Well done. Not up, you kind of sort of did it. Well done. How you doing, Sister Judith? Whatever you do it well. Whatever you do it well. When we sinned, when we were out in the world, we was getting drunk. You did it well. Now you come into the kingdom and you're hesitant. Right? We come into the kingdom, now there's hesitation. No, whatever we do it and we do it well. Right? You loved it when LL Cool J told you doing it well. But when it comes to your life, we're not doing everything well. Are there any holes in your game? Is there any holes in your defense? Are there any holes in your technique? Have you studied to see if there's any holes? Have you studied to see if there's a reason that see, watch this. I don't know why everybody's always picking on that one thing. I don't know how everybody gets to that one thing. I don't know how I'm always having issues with this one part of my life. That one part of your life that's not well done. That could be the one thing I'm looking for. If I'm fighting you, I'm looking for anything I can use to be able to win. Right? We think that even the fights that we see at competitions, we think those are fair fights. Right? If you're fighting somebody in the street, there ain't no such thing as fair. It's just a fight. Yeah, they're just looking for weaknesses or openings. I'm looking for a weakness or open. I want you to swing first. Watch this. The person who knows how to fight for real, if somebody really knows how to fight, they don't usually fight because they know they're going to win. They've already peeped a weakness. They already know. I was listening to somebody, my wife and I were listening to somebody, or she was listening to somebody on my phone, and I was like, oh, I know that voice. That's a Navy SEAL. He's got like some of the most kills, as far as being a SEAL. He wrote a book, yada, yada, yada. Right? And so when she was listening to him, I said, he said something powerful. He goes, he was like, I try my best, because somebody asked him the question. They said it wasn't Vlad from Vlad TV. It was the other guy that does interviews for Vlad now that he's gotten bigger and they're putting out more content. And the guy asked him, he said, how do you turn that off? He said, you got all these people that box, all these people that do karate, kung fu, tai chi, taekwondo, etc. Right? You got all these people that are MMA, and you can tell they have you got to have a screw loose to do some of that stuff. How you doing, Hillson? You got to have a screw loose. Memphis in the house. Okay, welcome. Thank you. We got a lot of folk in Memphis actually. How you doing, Michael? Thanks for being part of the community. And so he says, how do you guys turn that off? I don't understand how you can turn that off. And the guy makes a joke. He starts off by making a joke. He says, well, because you can go to prison. he said, but for real, no. He said, like, I know what I have the ability to do because I do it well. It's well done, right? He said, he said, he said that I have the ability to do things and do them very well. He said, I can do them better than most of you ever even thought of, right? He said, matter of fact, he said, I got a mode that I'll go into. He said, I've never had to do this, but he said, in my mind, if push came to shove, the only way to win was to eat your face. If I had to bite your face, he said, that's what I'm going to do. He said, I've killed people in ways that people can't even describe. He said, so when I see somebody trying to fight me, he said, I'm actually trying my best not to do anything because I already know I'm going to win. See, the person who already knows, the person who's usually the best at something usually doesn't even have to worry about fighting. That's why you resist the devil and you will flee. See, I wasn't a Navy SEAL, but I was on Little Creek base in Virginia, not right next to Naval Station Norfolk. I don't know if they still call it that or not, but the biggest naval station in the world, at least at the time. And so while I was there and I was doing security and I was learning some things, I was getting ready to go in a battle and things like that. We did some training there, and I learned some hand to hand. And I learned, you know, you get pepper sprayed, you get all the stuff that you taught, and so that you know how to use it and how to guard against it, etc. Mustard gas, all that stuff. Mustard gas training, they do that in boot camp too. But after you go through all those things, interesting thing about it is once you finish, you would see from time to time the SEALs, and the SEALs, they don't wear the uniform. They don't have to wear uniform. Now they wear a uniform, but it's like PT gear from back in the day when you were in elementary school. I'm talking about the short shorts and everything. But they wear basically like, you know, physical training stuff. They don't wear uniforms. So I asked a question one day because you kind of get like, well, why is it that we got to wear a uniform? We got to have our working blues on, or our dress blues on, or our working whites on, or our dungarees, or our camis, or whatever, right? They don't have to have them, right? Shouldn't they have to wear uniforms too? And one day somebody broke it down to me. They said, Kofi, and how you doing, Miss Pierce? And how you doing, Eliance? They said, Kofi, I want you to think about something. He said, these are SEALs. He said, do you know what a SEAL has to do? I was like, well, I've heard stories. And so he's like, do you know what Hell Week is? I think I know what Hell Week is. Yeah, you know, it's a week they get sleep deprived and things like that, and it's really tough. He's like, no. Like, do you know that they don't get to sleep for a week? They don't get to go to sleep. If they go to sleep, they fail. They can't be SEALs. Oh no, I didn't know that. Right? I didn't know that. Oh yeah. Like they don't get to go to sleep for a week. Do you know why? While they don't get to go to sleep, they have to carry like a boat on top of their heads, and they have to be in the water for hours at a time because most of the stuff they're going to be dealing with is coming from the water into land. No, I didn't know that. Yeah. Do you know that they have to be able to deep sea dive? They have to be able to swim very well. They have to be able to jump out of a plane. They have to be able to operate heavy machinery, right? You know about the M16, you got a little bit of stuff as far as sniper rifle training and all that stuff. You're a marksman and sharpshooter, and that's great. But do you not know that they have to, what the training and the level of stuff they have to go through? Yeah, they have to fight being delirious, all that stuff. And I was like, I didn't really think about that. He was like, do you know how many people that they might have to kill? How many of their own brothers that they might have to see ripped apart and stuff in front of them, and still drag pieces of their body so that they can make sure the family has something to hold on to? Do you know how many times that they have to deal with Navy corpsmen who are somewhat trained but aren't necessarily on their level, but they have respect for him because the corpsman is willing to sacrifice his life so that he might be able to make sure that somebody makes it home safe? Yeah, the videos are very amazing if you get a chance to watch it, right? And I was like, okay, I think I get it. He's like, yeah. So they don't wear what you wear because when it's time for them to go into action, they do it so well that we're not concerned about the other stuff. You don't do what they do as well. So you need to make up for it in other areas. Mm, I get it now, right? There's a reason why the person that you keep looking at and saying, how come they get to do this? How come they get to do that? If they do something so well, people don't even look at some of the other stuff. See, the reason why you think that now this is going to sound like it's even going up against what I said, but just hang in there for the context, right? Some of the reasons why you're picking people apart and saying, well, they don't do this and they don't do that. They don't even have to do some of the stuff that you have to do, because every single thing you think it's about, like rich people don't worry about looking rich, but you're worried about making sure that everything in your appearance looks like it's worth $5 million. But people that are worth $5 million, if they make 5 million, why would they need to look like they make 5 million when they have the 5 million? You're hoping that somebody will see you looking like 5 million and maybe give you a couple hundred. That's not kung fu. That's not well done. Now, obviously, we want to be whole. We want to be holistic. We want to be great in all areas. But see, I need you to comprehend. My goal is not to try and make sure that I sound like TD Jakes. TD Jakes does what TD Jakes does very well. Regardless of what you believe about him, think about his lifestyle, whatever. What he does very well. So I'm not looking for TD Jakes to do certain things. Do what you do and do it well, bro. Right? I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to do it very well. Not because I'm better, not because I'm worse, not because this, that, whatever. I'm going to do what I do well. And what I do so well that, now watch this. Write down the vision and make it plain upon the tablets. Well said. Amen. Right? Write down the vision and make it plain upon the tablets. Why? So that he or she that reads it will run with it. Get the vision together and have the vision together so well that somebody else will say, hey, I can do what you're talking about well. I might not be able to come up with what you came up with, but I can help you to take it to the next level, and we can work together and do it well. That's kung fu. Once again, somebody would say, how do I do kung fu? And you're waiting for me to go, well, you go here, you turn over and all this stuff, right? Hit them with this, move this way, make sure that you do twist dance and come back. And no. Like, can you obey your parents? Because if you can't obey your parents, you can't obey your shifu. You can't obey your master, right? My son and I, we were working on some stuff today. I said, okay, you tell me what you want to work on. And I said, work on stuff that we practice that's actually kung fu, not movies, this and that, whatever. So immediately he goes to, well, I want to do this and I want to do that, and let's work on this kick in the air. And I saw this thing on YouTube. I'm like, son, I gave specific instructions, right? Can you show me a jab? Can you show me a jab cross, right? Can you give me elbow? Can you show me a hit, and go down and hit? Can you do any of those, right? Can you show me defense? Can you hit, guard, and come back over, right? Can you show me something that you learned within the culture, within the craft? Before you start saying, let's work on stuff that is not even stuff you can use in a fight. Love me, Donnie Yen. But I told you, Wing Chun, Donnie Yen, when you're watching Ip Man, he's not doing Wing Chun all the time. He's doing some stuff to sell tickets. But if Donnie Yen gets in a fight with you, right, he would have to do some stuff different. Here's something that might mess with some of you guys, even though I don't have the training, and I'm not saying that I would necessarily win, but you'd be surprised that myself and Donnie Yen could probably get in the fight, and I would do pretty well. You say, why is that? That don't make sense. I'm 6'5.5", right? I'm losing weight, but sometimes can be around 280. Donnie Yen, about 150, 160, if that. I think Donnie Yen might be 5'5", 5'6". See, so he has to fight in his weight class. He looks great in the movie against Mike Tyson, but he could never fight Mike Tyson in real life. Mike Tyson's fighting weight is 220, 225. I think sometimes he got down to 215. They're built different. See, what one person does well, you might not do well. You got to you got to know what you're fighting. You got to know what you're fighting and how to fight. You're trying to fight the enemy in a style that the enemy's more built for than you are. That's why you don't fight him at all. You got to resist the devil and let him flee. Yeah, Mike almost hurt him in that movie, right? That was Ip Man 3, I think, right? And it's not because he wanted to necessarily. But look, Mike Tyson is somebody that was fighting in the streets of New York. Mike Tyson is somebody that was fighting in prison, even as a child in and out of jail, right? Or juvie. Right? Like Mike Tyson comes from a place to where he started fighting because he wanted to prove to Customato that, hey, I was willing to kill for all these people that weren't willing to do anything for me, but you were willing to go ahead and put me up in the house and give me money and stuff. I want to die for you. Right? Like, he's not fighting what you're fighting. Mike Tyson Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson still to this day wants to be a fighter. He gets upset when he can't fight the way he used to fight because his whole life was about fighting. You think that he cares when you get in there about fighting fair? You think he won't bite your ear and spit it to the ground and then bite your other one? You got to know who you're fighting. You got to know the style. You got to know what to do. You have to know what's coming up. Evander Holyfield didn't beat Mike Tyson because Evander Holyfield is necessarily a better fighter. Evander Holyfield beat Mike Tyson because Evander Holyfield is somebody whose style was something that he started working on for Mike Tyson, because when Evander Holyfield was still not even in Mike Tyson's weight class, he knew one day to be considered to be one of the greatest, he was going to have to move up in weight class, which meant that he started practicing for Mike Tyson and developing a style for him way before they even met in the ring. Yeah, Mike Tyson's a dangerous man. He fights so that he'd be calm. Mike Tyson fights to calm himself down. You fight to protect yourself. You got to see what's going on style-wise. Style makes fights. It's like in sports all the time, right? You can have one team that everybody thinks is terrible, but that one team goes against another team that doesn't have the speed or the quickness or the youth, et cetera, that somebody else has. They might beat the other team every time because styles make fights. Right? When Conor McGregor was talking about he was going to fight Khabib, I already knew what was going to go down. I'm not even a big MMA person, but I already knew because Khabib is a wrestler, right, who've been fighting bears since he was a little child. Now, it was trained bears, but seriously, he was fighting bears since he was a child. He was wrestling bears. Right? Now, Conor McGregor, he come off the streets of Ireland, right? But Conor McGregor wasn't no thug and all the stuff he wants you to think. Conor McGregor, he had a little gift of fighting. He was able to turn that into something that can get him off the streets. And Conor McGregor by then had gotten his big payday that he'd been searching for his whole life. He wasn't even as hungry. He tried to talk himself into it, but he wasn't ready for it. You can't fight against somebody that fights bears. This is why David said, see, Saul, see, he had to do it well in his arena, in his style. Here comes Saul. Hey, where my armor? Where it is? Where that? He said, look, man, I got to take this off. I just told you, man, I fought the lion already. I fought the bear. I fought for the sheep. So since the sheep are out here being punked by Goliath, I'm going to fight the same way I fought when I fought for the sheep. He couldn't fight the way that Saul fought because Saul hadn't fought because Saul was afraid. So, but he said, I don't care who it is. If I fought a lion, I fought a bear, Goliath ain't going to be nothing to me. But I'm going to fight him on my terms, in my style, and my style, right? That's why you have Wing Chun. That's why you have Crane style. That's why you have Tiger style, right? You have all these different styles. They're all different styles. And people learn different styles to sometimes even say, okay, you're fighting this style, you're fighting Tiger, maybe I need to get in Crane. Okay, you're fighting Crane, maybe I need to use Snake in this area to confuse you. Okay, you're using Snake, maybe I need to go ahead and get into Monkey, right? Maybe I need to fight Drunken style. These styles are there. Even Drunken style is something that's what's designed to confuse you. Drunken style is not bad because you have no clue that they're trying to hit you. Drunken style is because when somebody's drunk, they don't fight the same. They don't think the same. It's called drunken style because not only does the person look like they're drunk when they're doing things, right? And you don't know what's happening, but boom, right? But it's not just called drunken style because of that. It actually gets you drunk. You getting looking at them and you start, right? They even did a little play on that. And even though they were talking about more like a snake, they did a play on that in the second Karate Kid, the one with Will Smith's son. Right, remember? And the whole thing, and it was like to try and see he had heard somebody talk about it or whatever, but they're doing the thing and he basically like moves his head to the side, and the guy moves his head to the side, and it's like confused, and he says, okay, I got him. Right? I'm making you move how I want you to move. You won't be the person who determines how I move. I will determine how we move. A fight is a dance. How you doing, Concrete Rose One? A fight is a dance. Even in professional wrestling, if you're in a professional wrestling or ever have been in your life, they call it a dance. It's choreography. It's choreographed. They work on the moves. If I come this way, then you have to cooperate to get in the headlock. I'm not just randomly getting you in a headlock. They call out the moves to each other in the ring. You know, they even back in the day, they would just, that's why they made all that noise. You heard people go, ah, 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 right? They make all that noise and used to be the bad guy, the one you didn't like making all the noise. Why? Because the person who was supposed to be the protagonist, right? Usually, and a lot of times the bad guy would actually call the moves. So he's making all this, headlock, headlock, and it gets, you didn't hear the headlock part, but it's choreographed. They're dancing together. When you do something well, right? Realize it's practicing it, choreography. Do you know the steps? Do you know how to lead? Do you know how to follow? Right? Do you know? If you hear, do you know how to move to it? If you hear, do you know how to move different? It seems like it's almost the same, but just a simple difference in the clave or the beats is telling me something specific. Move different. A counter move as well, right? When I move, you move, right? Counter move. When you learn how to fence, you learn how to make sure that you counter. There's rules and regulations to this. There's laws. That's how this stuff works. So when we talk about kung fu means what? Well done. And like I said earlier, my goal is at the end of all the stuff that I do to hear, well done, my faithful servant who is righteous, my faithful servant who's been constitutional, my good and faithful servant. I want to hear him tell me that I've been faithful over a few things. He'll make me a ruler over many. I want the crown that was promised to me, but it's promised to me because what I do it well. So do well. And by the way, if you haven't been doing well, here's the great part about it. As we take our leave and I get ready for class tonight, here's the great part about it. If you haven't been doing well, guess what? You can start today. How things have been. How you doing, Sister Kimberly? How things have been in the past is not indicative. It is not indicative to how things shall be in the future. Nothing in my life is going well. Start doing well today. None of my relationships have worked. Have a relationship with the Most High today. I haven't been able to understand what the Bible says. Get with like-minded people and start studying today. You've been letting go of leaven every day. I'm not removing this leaven. Do it well. So by the time you get to Passover and the death angels coming looking for us, that angel shall not be able to come into thine house, because when Yahshua shed the blood, he did it well. That being said, thank you so much. Please check out my wife, the Honorable Maya, on TikTok, YouTube, or website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A and D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. We thank you guys so much for listening in and tuning in. We appreciate your presence as always. We give all praise and honor to Yahweh Elohim. I will be on tomorrow, so I'll see you tomorrow for the live session. I will not be on tomorrow evening, so please check out Minister Tamara at Tamara_Yah9. That's TAMARA _YAH9. Please keep Sonia in prayer as she continues to heal and her family heals with the loss of a loved one. Please keep Sister Kayla in prayer. The baby was born, and the baby is doing well as far as what I know. So we're excited, but keep them in prayer as well. Keep each other in prayer. Keep locked in. Don't forget the different things we have. Ministerial staff, don't forget we have a meeting on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern New York time. I have a meeting with a couple of you guys regarding Yah's Land Project 83. So please, y'all who are supposed to be part of that meeting, please be ready for that. I think that's on Thursday as well. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for your prayers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the stuff as far as the campsite stuff. I will try my best. I can't guarantee it, but I will try my best to start putting stuff on Patreon, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, etc., with some of the stuff and the land and campsite and all that stuff that we've been doing, so you can see what it looks like even further. Obviously, it'll look a little different when it's, the leaves and the trees and all that stuff is there. But we had a great time, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the view these last couple of days. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And I thank you guys. I appreciate you. You guys take care and do kung fu. Do everything well. As always, this has been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And until I have the great privilege, opportunity, responsibility of being in front of you all again, please remember, as always, just that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you're fearfully, wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Belated Shabbat Shalom. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.